Am I the asshole for refusing to let my daughter's fiancé stay in our guest house because I prioritize my personal space over my daughter's relationship? So I, M49, might be in the wrong here, but I honestly don't think I am, and would love to hear outside perspectives. My daughter, 23F, got engaged recently and came to visit us with her fiancé, 24M. We live a few states away, so I get that traveling is tiring, but we were happy to host, for the weekend. Now, I've had my guest room set up for my miniature wargaming for the past few years. It's my space, where I go to decompress after work, and it's honestly the only spot in the house that's fully mine. My wife has the sunroom, and the rest of the house is kind of communal. I've got thousands of dollars of models in there, custom terrain, a 3D printer setup, etc. It's not just a hobby, it's an investment, and frankly, a form of art. Anyway, when they arrived, I had the office couch made up for them. Pull out, memory foam, decent blanket, very clean. My daughter seemed fine with it, but her fiancé kind of made a face and later asked why they couldn't just sleep in the guest room. I told him plainly it wasn't available because it's not a guest room anymore. It's my studio. Later that night, my daughter confronted me privately and said I was being selfish and ridiculous and that it's just for 2 nights. She said they felt unwelcome and like I was prioritizing plastic figurines over family. I told her that's not fair, they have a place to sleep. It's not like I made them sleep on the floor. Now my wife is giving me the cold shoulder and said I could have just packed it up for a weekend. But again, it's not like these are toys you throw in a box. Some of them are fragile. Some are half-painted. I don't want to spend days reorganizing and then undoing all that work just because they didn't like the setup. They left a day early, and now I'm getting texts from my daughter about how I chose my hobby over her happiness, which just seems dramatic to me. I might be the asshole because maybe I could have moved some stuff around for a few nights, but I really don't think it's fair to expect me to dismantle my entire setup just because someone didn't want to sleep on a perfectly good pull-out. I have a right to my space too, right?
Am I the asshole for shutting off my boyfriend's daughter's phone? Am I the asshole for doing so? The daughter, Ada, 30F, phone and grandson's iPad? Me 48F and my BF 58M have been together for 8 years. He recently moved in with me due to health issues I was having. This upset Ada. She believed we should sell BF's home to her. When Ada realized we would not sell to her, she demanded $20,000 to get her teeth fixed. Yes, they are that bad. BF let her know we would not help. She demanded to see a bank statement to prove he didn't have the money. The audacity. I will back up a little to tell you how I became the evil monster. When BF and I first started dating, BF paid Ada's car insurance, phone, and healthcare costs. At 26, BF stopped paying for A's healthcare. At 27, Ada got a DUI she hid from everyone. Fast forward 18 months. BF and I were on vacation and I got calls, texts from Ada. She had been arrested for not having current vehicle registration. Weird, but I had no reason to not believe her. From vacation I got her vehicle towed to avoid impound fees. Ada made multiple calls to BF and I made 2 trips to get Ada, 90 minutes away. Problem was she hadn't been released. Believing charges were due to EXP tags, I paid for updated tags. After the second trip to get Ada, getting suspicious, I went to the courthouse to find she had an arrest warrant for a DUI, not expired tags. It was then we learned Ada needed a CD evil, had not paid her fines, and had a suspended license for the past 18 mo. We were told Ada was not to drive until the judge reinstated her license per the court. BF and I picked her up 2 days later when Ada was actually released. At this point Ada lied about the DUI and told us the judge said she could drive her own vehicle home. I called BS on this and was told to F off, you're not my mom. BF let her know he would not pay her vehicle insurance because of DUI. Jason's birthday was just a few weeks later. BF was told he could go but not me. I asked why I'm good for her jail call but not for B-Day party. Then asked Ada to pay back the $1,000-ish I dropped on her vehicle. I was told to F off, she didn't owe me anything. Maybe I'm being petty, but I thought I deserved at least a thank you. Now back to the phones. We added Ada and Jason to my plan years ago. Q2-ish years ago. Ada wanted a new iPad for Jason and promised to pay for this. Ada only paid once. 1 year ago, Ada had to have a new phone. Ada promised to pay for this too. Her phone cost 3x as much as the other phones. After 1 year of Ada not paying, BF let Ada know we would keep her on our plan to get her our military discount, but Ada needed to pay her part. This did not go well. Ada told BF to pick between her and I. Ada then said more horrible things about me. At this point I 100% realized Ada thinks I am a horrible monster and is playing a game of Fafo. I shut both phones off immediately. She was told I expected the phone and iPad to be transferred to a new plan or given to me by tomorrow. I know I acted hastily, but am I the asshole for shutting off their phones and making the demands I did? Am I the asshole for not giving in to the life my family wants for me and trying to fight my way through it?
I, 26F, feel lost and overwhelmed, with nowhere to turn, so I'm sharing my story here in hopes of finding some relief and support. I've always been an avid reader on Reddit, finding comfort in how strangers come together to lift each other up, and I guess I'm hoping for a bit of that kindness now. I come from a dysfunctional family, my parents, 2 siblings, 36F and 30M, and myself. My childhood wasn't all bad. I have fond memories with my parents and siblings. My mom has always coddled my brother, who, as an adult, has turned out to be irresponsible and unmotivated. My sister, on the other hand, lives abroad with her family and has built a comfortable life. Since my dad's passing, everything has changed, and I feel like I've lost the one person who truly understood and supported me. Now, it's me, my mom, and my brother at home. I work full-time to support us, handling most of the household chores on top of it all. Yet, despite giving almost all my earnings and devoting so much of my time, I am constantly criticized and have no freedom or life of my own. In late 2020, I met my now partner, 30M, through gaming. He's everything I never knew I needed: most kind, supportive, gentle, honest, loving, caring, hilariously awesome, a sweetheart, a real gentleman, and well, basically, all the adjectives in all the languages that ever exist. However, as all good things that come to a devastating blow, my dad passed a few weeks after we met, and as a result of my grief, I pushed everyone away, including him. I buried myself in work just to numb the pain, but he never left my mind. In December 2023, when I finally felt ready to be with him, I gathered all my courage and reached out to him. Picking up from where we left off felt so natural, and now, we're closer than ever. But happiness never comes easy. When I introduced him to my sister and her husband, hoping they'd see what I see, they dismissed him for being from a different ethnicity and not financially stable. They want me to marry someone wealthy, regardless of how I feel. It's heartbreaking because they don't see the hard-working, loving person I know. My family has tried to arrange marriages for me for years, focusing on superficial standards like looks and money. Meanwhile, the one person who truly loves me is pushed aside. I feel trapped between my family's expectations and my happiness. I'm sharing my story because I'm desperate for help and understanding. I just want a chance to be with the person I love without having to constantly justify it. I need support, someone to see us as we are, to understand that love and kindness should matter more than wealth or appearances. I'm not asking for money or favors, just an opportunity for us to be together. Please, if anyone could take on the role of being a family to my partner for him to be able to talk to my family, it would mean the world to me. All I ask is for a chance, just one. Please help us change our lives for the better with your help.
Am I the asshole for not going to my best friend's birthday party? I, 25F, had a massive disagreement with my best friend, 25F, of over 10 plus years regarding her birthday because of 2 girls I do not want to be around. We had a friend group in college, 2 of her roommates that I met through her. She was always closer to them than I was, of course. We had a big falling out the summer after graduation. One girl ended our friendship in a way that I do not forget. I was traveling to say goodbye to my terminally ill grandmother, whom I was very close to, and received a friendship breakup text which the other 2 knew the entire time we were friends how she felt about me, as I'm literally boarding the plane, which she was aware of. She also ghosted my best friend. The other girl ended our friendship, no valid explanation. She left me and my best friend alone. My best friend expressed a year later that she missed having a friend group and wanted to reach out to them. Fast forward 3 years later, they've been friends again since and I am not a part of that. It's been tough to navigate BC. I respected her decision to be friends W them again, but it bothers me at times that she's friends W someone who disrespected me, considering she calls us closer than she is W them. Her last few birthdays have been difficult. I did not go to a birthday dinner when she had just rekindled her friendship W them. She didn't seem to care and let it be. Last year she wanted all of us to go on a birthday trip, which I was definitely not comfortable doing. It seemed like she understood but asked if I'd be comfortable if she did another birthday dinner. At this point I was willing to compromise for the sake of being there for her. I show up to her birthday dinner and they didn't come. BC she decided on her own terms it was still too soon. They still went on a trip a few weeks later. BC our birthdays are a few weeks apart. This year we planned a joint birthday trip, her idea. She is also doing something for the day of her birthday and wanted everyone to be there again, me and the other 2 girls. I know I had said the previous year I would be okay going if they are there, but I just cannot shake the feeling of how the dynamic would look like and how it feels like I'm hurting my feelings to show up for her when I don't feel like she'd do the same for me, that I might not have a good time, or if my distance gets taken the wrong way then an issue arises. I expressed to her that I wanted to go, but the idea of it is still uncomfortable and I'm unsure of how I'll feel. Also I didn't think it'd matter if I went, considering the other 2 did not go last year and they all still went on a trip W no issues, so why wouldn't we do our own thing? She took it as me saying her birthday doesn't matter and went on to say since I'm still celebrating mine the day of then she shouldn't come to mine. I'm really trying to protect my peace and still honor her birthday. So am I the asshole for not attending her birthday plans?
Am I the asshole for telling my friend he needs to go to rehab? I, 21F, have a really good friend we'll call Chase, 27M. We used to work together and over time became really good friends due to shared music taste, sense of humor, books we like, etc. He's now someone I talk to on an almost daily basis. Chase is the kind of person who's always in crisis. He's got a lot of mental health issues and has had a history of substance abuse. Because of this, our friendship has always been sort of one-sided. As in, I get regular updates on his mental health and have talked him through a lot of his personal issues, but on the occasion I have something going on that I'm freaking out about, I'm lucky if I get asked to elaborate. Usually he just thumbs down the message and then sends me an unrelated Twitch stream clip. Anyway, to the point of this post. Chase has a drinking problem. I was aware that he's had problems, but not until recently did I become more aware of the full extent. He told me a few weeks ago that in the course of our friendship he's only been consecutively sober for at most a week. He comes home from work and drinks alone. Sometimes he'll even get blackout drunk by himself. He gets drunk at every party he goes to and frequently makes decisions he regrets. He's occasionally texted me some questionable things while drunk, which most of the time I just shrug off. He's told me he's aware it's a problem, and when I've asked him about looking into getting some help in the past, he's told me he doesn't want to spend the money on it and that he thinks he just needs a partner to motivate him into getting sober. My approach with him has always been more of a comfort and encourage. Recently though I've been getting more and more worried as he opens up to be more about how bad his problem is. It's been 2 weeks ago now that I write this that everything happened. I got a call from a friend of mine who we'll call Max, 19F, telling me that Chase had been sending her some strange DMs on Instagram. Chase has only met Max once or twice. They've definitely never had a texting relationship. One of the DMs he sent her, while not directed at her, was mildly inappropriate even to have sent me and definitely inappropriate to have sent a 19-year-old female friend of mine he barely knows. He said he was trying to make her feel included. He was, for clarity and by his own admission, close to blackout drunk. Max blocked him, and he accused her of trying to start shit. I love Chase to death, but I felt like I wasn't being a good friend anymore by simply taking the comfort and encourage approach. The next morning I sent him a lengthy text worded as lovingly as I could, but pretty firmly expressing that I think he needs to get help. He has not spoken to me in over 2 weeks now. I also have not sent him anything since that text. I miss him a lot and in a way, I feel partly responsible for him. I think I'm the only good influence in his life right now. Am I the asshole or am I overreacting, and what should I do now?
Would I be the asshole if I brought my cat home against my wife's wishes? I, 27M he him, and my wife, 30MB they them, have been married since January but together for 7 years in total. We live with our 2 cats which are my wife's childhood cats, so they are old ladies. We are both from FL and I had to leave my childhood cat behind due to worrying about the stress of travel for her and space. Plus she was with my mom so it wasn't a big deal. Due to a bunch of reasons, my cat was displaced, put in a shelter and then given to my sister's friend where she lives currently with a dog and 2 other cats. She is the same age as my wife's cats, seniors. The argument stems that me and my wife are taking a trip to FL in July for my birthday, and since we come home with 3 days to spare I thought it would be great to bring my baby kitty home with me. I want to be around for the last years of her life as I raised her from a tiny kitten with my mom bottle feeding her when I was in high school. My wife is completely against the idea. They said that they are concerned about the cats fighting and never getting along. I said that we could make her space as our apartment is a 2-bedroom and 1,000 square feet. Both of my wife's cats have lived with other cats before and my cat has lived with other cats before. I told them I just wanted to try to introduce the cats and if we try everything and it doesn't work after a certain amount of months, I even told wife that they can determine the amount of months. I can always fly her back to FL if needed. We don't have many friends and we have 0 family in this state. My wife simply said it was a lot of money but our banking is separate so what does that matter? I think what makes me so upset is that my wife always supports my decisions but this is the first time they don't seem willing to budge but I feel like it's not fair. How come they can have their cats but I can't have mine? Would I be the asshole if I brought my cat home with me anyways? Edit number 2. A lot of people seem to assume I abandoned my cat in another state so I'll give full context. My mom was in an abusive relationship and couldn't work during COVID and got evicted so my cat was sent to the shelter. I freaked out but couldn't take her in because of this exact situation so my sister had her put with her friend for about 2 weeks before I could get her. My wife and I had broken up, pretty briefly, at the time and my wife was moving to another state to be with their family but we lived in a tiny apartment with their 2 cats. I took my cat as soon as they moved and I was able to. Me and wife got back together and I began to plan my move to join wife. My sister became very angry when I wanted to take my cat so she insisted that she would take care of her and have my cat live with her friend. My cat has been at this friend's house for about 2 years now. Ever since this arrangement, despite my sister's words, I pay for everything for my cat at this other person's house. I worry that my cat doesn't get the veterinary care she needs as she has asthma and my sister now says that she breathes oddly all the time and while she took her to the vet I just don't trust anyone right now with her. I want to care for my cat.
Am I the asshole for wanting to attend my husband's business awards with our 6-month-old child? Am I the asshole? So tonight I got into a massive blow-up at my husband. He didn't say a thing, he just kept apologizing whilst I let loose on him, so let me clarify why. Tomorrow night is our area's local business awards and my husband works for his dad and they were nominated for an award. The town is hosting a full red carpet style gala with entertainment, food and fancy dress. I was not invited. I also only found out about the dinner tomorrow a couple of days ago and that my husband was going without me and our 6-month-old child. He thought nothing of it because this was information he was just badly relaying back to me because his dad told him on the phone that he booked a table for 4. Himself, his girlfriend, my husband and his brother. I asked my husband why I couldn't go and he said he didn't know, he didn't ask. This is where I blew up mainly because this isn't the first time his father has organized something and just so happened to forget about my existence. He has a past for ignoring my existence altogether. My husband also has a habit of not pull his dad up at all when he outright disrespects me. E.g. when he let himself into my home when I was alone with baby because he had to pick up something and didn't even say hello or make eye contact and just went straight for my daughter, said hello to her and once he was done giving her a hug said goodbye and left. I just googled the awards tonight and found out that they were paid for tickets, so he must have paid for the 4 of them and not wanted to pay for me. Honestly, that part I'm not even mad about. What I'm mad about is my husband didn't bother to ask about it, had no regard for me, so didn't even give me a chance to say hey yeah I will buy a ticket so I can support my husband. I'm not a part of the company, so I understand the company not paying for me, but to not even be asked. I've worked for large corporations that don't give two shits about their employees, and even when they did our Christmas parties they still allowed family members to come as long as they paid their way. So am I the asshole and making mountains out of molehills? Or was I justified? Edit. A few things to clarify. I'm not angry that I wasn't invited. I was disappointed, but it was to be expected. I'm angry because my husband just took it at face value. His dad called him, told him where to be and when, and husband just left it at that. Didn't ask if I could buy my own ticket. Didn't ask, well, if your girlfriend is coming, can I bring my wife? When he was conversing with his father, I didn't exist, and this is not the first time this happened. His dad makes plans for my husband, and my husband is supposed to drop everything and run, including any plans he may potentially have with his wife and daughter. Edit. From reading everyone overall response, I think I have come to the conclusion that I was asshole. I think my resentment towards FIL leaked through, and one comment really got me, which was if my husband said or did something against his father definitely would have picked a fight or got angry at him, so he does seem to always be between a rock and hard place. I also feel sorry for him, but at the same time I am constantly putting my feelings aside so he doesn't get put in that hard place. I think after 12 years and with our first child my patience is wearing very thin. Am I the asshole for trying to force my roommates out and leave? I live in a rental house with 5 other roommates. We're all in our late teens and early 20s. The group: me, 20F. My boyfriend J, 20M. My best friend L, 19F. Her boyfriend T, 19M. My cousin C, 22F. And A, 19M, a dramatic, flamboyant roommate who is close with C. A while ago, A and C said they were moving out. Based on that, I bought all the shared furniture and appliances from them: washer, dryer, microwave, etc. We even lined up a new housemate who rearranged their job for it. Then last minute, A and C bailed. The new housemate had to undo everything. This wasn't the first time they've said they were leaving and changed their minds. More recently, we all agreed to move together to a better area. But once again, A and C backed out just before the move. So we decided they'd move out in a few months and the rest of us would stay. Since then, things have become really tense. C and I have never been close, and A is very hot and cold, friendly one day, nasty the next. Both have become rude and snappy. For example, I borrowed C's cheap shoes for an event, something I'd done before with no issue, and returned them undamaged. A week later, I asked to borrow her hairdryer. She said, no, fuck off. J then asked nicely and she said, no, she's a cunt. I jumped in with, fuck off, she said no. I was shocked, especially since C uses my furniture and appliances daily. Then today happened. J and I were in our room, he was in the bathroom, I was on the bed when we heard loud, house-shaking banging on the front door. It scared me. Our security cameras weren't loading, so I didn't check. After a few more bangs, C messaged the group chat saying her key wasn't working. I let her in. She immediately started yelling, "You've been home this whole fucking time?" I said not to yell. She kept going. I explained I was scared, and she yelled, if I was running from a murderer, the blood would be on your hands. This is a pattern. C has screamed during arguments, had her mum mediate conflicts, and had meltdowns in the house to the point of being hospitalized. I feel for her, but it's become unlivable. A plays both sides, supporting us one moment, then telling C things we never said. It feels like he stirs drama to manipulate or sabotage others. L has had issues with it too. He gave her his unused TV, then took it back after getting upset about her boyfriend visiting, even though no one else minded. He later admitted he didn't want her to have it, he just didn't want anyone to. Meanwhile, J has had to put up with A's loud late-night guests while needing to be up at 4 a.m. for work. Now, J, L, T, and I have decided that A and C can no longer use the furniture and appliances I bought. It's not revenge, we're just done supporting people who don't respect us. We're hoping it finally pushes them to leave, like they've repeatedly said they would. AITA for wanting them gone? Would I be the asshole if I'm honest with my best friend about my dislike of her male friends? I, 17F, have known my friend Rose, also 17F, for a while and we're pretty close. But last year I was a really awful friend to her. I was dealing with unresolved issues from boys in my class, and I took out my pent-up anger on my friends by mocking them, especially Rose. Rose and I usually hang out with our other friends, Sadie and Ava. All of us are female. This is important later. Anyway, Rose is a bit of a nerd, so during this time, I teased and ridiculed her for talking about stuff like knitting or geography or board games, etc. I could tell she was hurt by my actions, but I kept it up and willfully ignored her feelings. That's why I think I might be the asshole in this situation. I later realized that I had mimicked the behavior the boys in my class put me through by mocking Rose for having unconventional interests. I felt terrible because my own experiences had made me an unkind person and caused me to mess up my interpersonal relationships. I realized I had been self-centered and ignorant, and I was determined to make up for it by being a supportive and non-judgmental friend for Rose going forward. Here's where it gets complicated. Rose has a few friends, all male, who like to hang out with us, and I cannot stand them. One of them is always on his phone, one of them is terribly boring, two more are nice but only talk about math because they're geniuses or something, and the last one asked me out a few months ago despite the fact I can't stand him and told him so. For valid reasons. That's a whole different story. And not only do I dislike these boys, I am currently feeling unsafe with boys in general because a certain group of them has bullied me for years through things like body shaming, harassment, and cyberbullying. Luckily, I have finally started unpacking some of that stuff, but I'm scared at school and I just want to be around other girls. Anyway, going back to my situation with Rose, these boys aren't toxic males, but I feel stifled in their presence and like I have to minimize myself and be pleasing to them in order not to be considered unpleasant. I once mentioned that I was on my period, and they all turned red like I had announced something shameful, instead of just being someone with a functioning uterus. I wanted to get up and leave. But I feel awful about how I mistreated Rose and I don't want to seem like I hate her friends or I'm ditching her because I have better things to do, so I just sit there every day and internally scream in the hopes of it making me a better friend. So would I be if I told Rose that her friends make me feel uncomfortable, even though I've treated her unkindly in the past and I'm trying to make up for it?